Rolling.
So, Bodhipati Deshana Priti, known as Jangkyusin Bitungwa Shakwa. In all the practice, discipline or path, there is code of conduct, there is if you like ethic. Basically there is what you can do and what you can't do. But I think it's important that people know that the whole, first of all, it's important that people know that there is no such thing as Dharma practice apart from keeping those discipline. And also it's really important, especially for the beginners, to know that if you are a beginner, you are bound to violate or to breach or to break these discipline, or basically, you know, especially in the beginning, you are not a perfect. Anyway, because you are not a perfect, therefore you are practicing. There is no such thing as, you know, you become so perfect in discipline, morality and ethic, and then you practice. Because if you are already perfect with all this discipline, then there is no separate practice. In other words, the process of breaking the rule, if I put it in a very crude and mundane way, process of breaking the rule, not being disciplined, and at the same time fixing it, mending it, restoring it through different kinds of methods that are found in Buddhist sutras. This is basically one of the quintessential practice in all the practice, whether it's a Sutrayana, whether it's in the Sharvakayana, whether it's the Mahayana, whether it's the Pratyeka Buddha path. One essential thing that we need to know is there are all the religions have concept of, you know, code of conduct, I believe, and also there is concept of confession, restoring, mending, amendment, and so on and so forth. But a crucial thing that we need to realize is that in Buddhism, in Buddha Dharma, and especially in the Mahayana, the discipline, therefore breaching of the discipline, or the breaking of the discipline, or that, and also the person who keeps the morality, the ethic, the discipline, and the person who at times, you know, break these rules, fundamentally they are all within the sphere of dependent arising. Therefore, the quintessence or the nature of the discipline, the keeper of the discipline, they are all shunyata, emptiness. This is the foundation. Based on that, we talk about, we can even use seemingly very religious words like a confession. So I think it's really important that although the terms such as confession can be very similar to many of the other religions, the foundation, first of all, the foundation, on the foundation level, the Buddhist concept of confession is really, really different. On top of that, then of course, the motivation, especially in this case, the motivation is really not to confess and sort of mend your own sort of downfall, and therefore you become kind of pure and quenched and, you know, cleared from the sort of bad book, if you like, and then become kind of in the white list. It's really nothing to do, especially in the Mahayana. Remember, in the Mahayana, the essence of the practice is the bodhicitta, and the bodhicitta really is to do with benefiting the sentient beings. And when we talk about benefiting sentient beings, we are not talking about just giving them food and shelter. We are talking about awakening them. So actually, to be more precise, for a Mahayana practitioner, to reach enlightenment is not at all the goal. That is never the goal. To reach enlightenment or Buddhahood is actually a tool. So what is the main purpose of the Mahayana practitioner? The main purpose of the Mahayana practitioner is to benefit sentient beings. That is the real goal, real sort of aim. In order to enlighten sentient beings, awaken sentient beings, we try to equip ourselves with every possible, you know, tools, attributes. And it so happened that if one attain Buddhahood, it can be, and it definitely is, a big tool, because you become omniscient, you become omnipotent, and you can benefit so much. So you see, so with that spirit, with this motivation, you also do the confession or purification. So the attitude of doing the confession or purification is really to not sort of correct your own guilt, or that is really not the main goal. It may be a temporal and sort of the side bonus, if you like, but the real goal is to awaken sentient beings. Okay, so in the Mahayana Buddhism, as I was saying earlier, there are so many different ways to restore, amend our sort of breakage of our rules, commitments, the vows, and as I said earlier, especially for the beginners, breaking vows, keep on, you know, ending up making mistakes, end up making hurting people, end up you know, what do you call it, going astray from the Buddha's teachings, ending up distracted from our real goal. That, of course, is happening all the time. I again here repeat this, a young bodhisattva should never imagine that after a few days or right from the beginning they will be good at keeping all the vows and commitments and so on. So in this case, so what do we do, right? So so since now we know that basically almost every moment we will be, breaking or violating or doing something wrong. So then what do we do? It's almost impossible to be confessing and exposing our misdeeds, because most of the time our misdeeds that we have created, we are not even conscious of. Only some really gross downfall we may notice, which we feel guilty. But most of the time, 99.99, we don't even know that we are actually ending up hurting people, or one way or another we are misleading people, and plus all the things that we have done in the past, that's still there. And then also all the wrongdoings that we can end up doing in the future. Now what do we do with these? This is why this is specific the sutra Buddhyapati, this sanavritti is praised, encouraged and practiced by the great bodhisattvas of the past. And according to the many Mahayana sutras, even just reciting this once a day, Buddha himself, this is like not us making it up, Buddha himself declared that our bodhisattvas can purify many karmic debt, karmic baggage, basically the imprint of negative non-virtuous thoughts and actions, not only of this life but many lifetimes of the past, present and also the future. So in this day and age, where so many of us out of eagerness and with a really good intention, those of us, we have taken the bodhisattva vow, and also especially those who have joined the tantric path, which is basically practically Mahayana path, because if there is no Mahayana's bodhisattva path, there is no Vajrayana path. So all these peoples, I urge, I supplicate to really do this, if you can, on daily basis, if not at least as much as you can. And also those who not only just want to get acquainted with this sutra, but actually want to know more about the meaning of this sutra, there is actually a translation in English and also in Chinese. So please explore this for yourself and for the benefit of others. That's it. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, that's very good.